Hey everybody, this is Dr. Dan and Chewy in Dog We Trust. As you know, I try to cover the latest and greatest neurological research. Neurology has really come along the last 20 years after President Reagan had his Alzheimer's situation. The government realized, hey, this is pretty serious. This is going to bankrupt us, and Medicare is going to go crumbling. So they put a lot of research into brain health, which is great because it was perfect. I had a brain injury, multiple, because once you have one traumatic brain injury, you're going to have another because you're not thinking. Your executive function gets destroyed, and you don't have any cerebellar functions, so you don't have any. You're not coordinated. So once you have one, you're going to fall and trip and have a couple more. But today, I'm just going to read a list of the things, the basic stuff that everybody knows about health. Brain health is now, and you know, pardon me if I say obvious things, okay? Because in science, we say obvious things only if they're being researched, okay? Because sometimes what seems obvious isn't. So I'm going to give you the things that everybody knows about cardiovascular health and brain health, because now they're linked. Heart and the brain are the same thing. So I'm just going to read the list of things that everybody should know, or will know when I finish. My top recommendations for keeping the brain healthy. Number one, watch your body weight. All right, so that's that thing called your ideal body weight, and it always seems really, really wow. So I'm 5'11", and it's 168 or something, and I feel like a stick, but that's what my ideal body weight is. And to be honest, when you're that weight for a while, you go, yeah, this actually is pretty efficient. This feels good. Okay, so watch your blood pressure. Why? Because blood pressure, the heart pumps and blood goes spurting out into your brain, and that's pressure against tubes, and if the tubes break, you're in trouble. And too much pressure eventually will weaken the tubes, and they'll break, and that'll be trouble. Watch your cholesterol. This is tricky for most people. Cholesterol is a tricky subject. Cholesterol can form plaques, which forms Worleys, something like that. But in any case, so it disrupts blood flow. But we notice it makes the easiest thing is it makes arteries stiff, and stiff arteries aren't any good because they break easy. Let's put it that way. Cholesterol probably has something to do with inflammation, and inflammation is not on this list, but it's big. So cutting edge stuff, watch your inflammation. These chronic inflammatory processes, the body is turning against itself and killing itself. That's not such a good deal. Oh, sugar. Okay. It's amazing. Please study food science, just even the basics. I mean, the whole thing about sugar, fat, and salts is amazing. We've destroyed foods. I mean, this is just, in the last 100 years, we just destroyed foods. But we put sugar on everything, and it shouldn't be there, and it's pretty simple. What we've done in the last 10,000 generations is probably what we should continue to do, because the body, the genetics in us, has sort of reached an agreement, a handshake, if you will, with the outside world. So, yeah, there's not sugar in everything, and it shouldn't be. And sugar isn't very bad for you. I mean, too much sugar tends to glycosylate. The sugar jumps off into another molecule and tags it and binds with it, and then you have a molecule that's not what it's supposed to be doing. So yeah, you got to watch your sugar. Quote, insulin resistance, big problem. Let's see, exercise regularly. As the osteopaths say, motion is life. Yes, even if it's just moving. 10,000 generations, you'd think we were sitting in chairs? This is very unnatural, perverted even, to sit in a chair. We're supposed to move, always. How do joints get oxygen? Well, it's not from blood. You have to move a joint to make the motion, to the fluid inside of it move around so that you can get oxygen and get rid of your trash. Follow a heart-healthy diet, such as a Mediterranean diet or a plant-based diet. Okay, this is the easiest thing for people on the dietary roller coaster. Mediterranean diet. Think Italians in Rome. Pasta, seafood. They usually have an orange for dessert. Pretty simple stuff. But if you can stay away from food that comes out of a factory, that's a really good idea, because they sure manipulate stuff, and it doesn't turn out to be real food, pretend food. Minimize your risk of head injury by wearing helmets when appropriate. So, as before, this directly came out of the Center for Brain Health in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, absolutely. I had a car accident. I had a motorcycle accident. I had my leather on. I had my helmet on still. Yeah. Most people with a car accident at 20 miles an hour, that's a lot of strain on the brain. You're going to have some bleeding there. So I don't think I met anybody without a brain injury, because just a fairly, just a car accident. That'll give it to you. And everybody has car accidents. Pursue mentally stimulating activities. Yes. The brain is a muscle. The brain does change. Yes. Lose it or lose it. Neurons are fired together, wired together. Yes, you have to be. You have to be continually stimulating your brain, and the brain actually does grow like muscles do. Stay socially active. Okay, this is a really big one. So, the people that live the longest with the highest quality of life are socially active. This is just true. I mean, people in community communicate with each other, show different parts of each other, interact with each other. It's just totally, all those octogenarians are deeply embedded in a social network. It's just very important. And also, too, it's kind of balance if you're out with yourself. And I know when I'm with myself writing books, I'm really intellectually stimulated, but, you get to a social network and I get different parts of me going, and I get to be emotional, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the strategies that everybody knows, all the doctors, all the researchers. Those are the basics you got to learn, okay? And I try to make it short, but yes, know that. Let's go back to the diet for a second. Hey, listen, I try to present stuff that you probably don't know. Gut biome is super important. I did 2.5 years of microbiology studies at UNT. God, it's so, I can't believe it. What's in your gut and your bacteria is going to determine a lot of stuff. So that's where a lot of studies are going. So I could even envision in the future where people will not take medications. They'll say, you're going to have to change your food up a little bit, and we're going to give you this fecal implant. Well, that's a word you want to use around the dinner table, isn't it? Huh? Fecal implant? Uh-huh. In any case, because they're going to change your Clostridium difficile to something else, okay? So, yeah, they're finding out that the bacteria that lives in us make proteins and waste products, and that affects us. So we'll talk some more about that. But, yeah, the biome, that's going to be super big important. And I think that's all we need to know, except for, did we say exercise? Walking. 35 to 45 minutes a day, 5 times a week. Safe, effective, you socialize, and it's fun. So, a message from our leader. In dog we trust.